There have been many moments where I could have died throughout my life, but I was never scared of death. When I was 16, I was the kind of girl to purposely freak people out. I've been able to see ghosts every once in a while ever since I almost died at 5 years old. I would gladly tell those stories to friends because it never scared me. Nothing did. At the time, I was dating a metalhead, and I was always out with him and his friends. One day, I didn't feel like being home, and Seth was at work, so I decided to hang out with his brother and some other people. One of the guys felt off to me. He was in his late 20s, overweight, and had soulless eyes. I kept ignoring him, even though he was staring at me intently. Instead of saying anything about it, I just kept the conversation going with my boyfriend's brother. "What do you think of vampires?" the creepy guy said. "We will just call him John." What do you mean?" I asked, incredibly confused. To be fair, I probably looked like a vampire myself, since I was pale as fuck with black hair and black clothes. "Do you believe that they exist?" I assumed that he was just fucking with me, so I decided to play along. "Yeah, I think they could exist." I was smiling on the inside, but I tried to stop myself from laughing. Looking around, I saw that everyone was super serious. "What about werewolves and hybrids?" he asked as he leaned forward in his seat. At this point, I heard alarms in my head screaming, "They are crazy, get the fuck out." But aloud I replied, "Of course. If vampires exist, werewolves and hybrids obviously do too." John leaned back in his chair, smiling, and said, "I'm a hybrid." Again I looked around. "You're fucking kidding me." Everyone had a serious look on their face, as if they had been brainwashed to believe this. I was getting scared that they were going to hurt me or make me join a cult. "That's cool," I replied. At this point, I should let you know that I didn't have a cell phone. My mother simply couldn't afford one, and I never thought I needed one anyway. However, as I stared at John, waiting for him to talk, I wished that I had one. "Since I'm a hybrid, I can turn you into a werewolf or a vampire," he said it as if I had no other option. "How would that work?" "I would bite you. I'll let you choose where, of course." "How fucking considerate of you." "Then I'll have to kill you, but you'll come back." "Excuse me?" I thought to myself. I looked at my boyfriend's brother and asked, "What did you choose?" "Werewolf," he said and shrugged. I looked back at John. "What if I don't choose?" "You have to, now that you know." These people were psychopaths, holy shit. I learned from horror movies and crime shows that my best chance was just to play along. "I'm fine with being a vampire then." I tried to not sound hesitant. I wanted John to think that I believed this bullshit. He smirked and said, "Let's go." John got up and held his hand out to me. I tried to swallow the lump in my throat and followed him into the house. It smelled musty, like he left the windows closed for a week, with no AC on. The house was cluttered from clothes, sex toys, and other stuff not worth mentioning. He led me to a door in the back of the house, and I went inside. It was his bedroom. Fuck. At this point, I genuinely believed that this was going to be my last moment on Earth. There were whips, chains, rope, and other BDSM items hung up on the wall. John also had a collection of knives sitting on a dresser. They looked like regular pocket knives, but if I could just get closer to them, I might be able to use one. "Come sit on the bed," he said calmly. The bed was across the room from the knives. He knows. Fuck. I sat on the bed and he asked me where I wanted to be bitten. My arm, I guess. I didn't want him to be close to me, so I held my arm out to him. He took my forearm and bit deep into me, drawing blood. Luckily, I have a high pain tolerance, otherwise I might have screamed. After a moment, he let go of me. "Okay, now I have to kill you." I thought that by this point, I might have been able to find something to defend myself with, but everything was on the opposite side of the room. Frozen, I just stared at him nervously. "It's okay. I'll make it quick. You won't feel a thing." I didn't know what to do anymore, and he grabbed me and started choking me. Scratching at his arm, I hoped and prayed that he wouldn't kill me or that someone would stop him. My vision started getting dimmer and dimmer until I finally lost consciousness. When I woke up, I didn't know what time it was or what had just happened. He didn't kill me, so what happened? No one else was in the room, but as I looked at the walls, something clicked in my brain. He's done this before. He probably does this with whoever he sleeps with. He enjoys it. My skin started to crawl as I wondered what happened while I was unconscious. Did he... The door flung open, and John walked in with some orange juice. He offered it to me, but I didn't drink it. And he asked me, "How are you feeling?" "I'm fine. I just feel tired. I should probably go home. My mother's probably waiting for me." After I had said it, I bit my tongue and worried that I had pissed him off. "Okay, I'll take you home." His response confused me, but I was thankful to get away and get home. The car ride was silent, and when I got home, I pretended that nothing had happened. The next day I was at school, just trying to act normal. I kept tugging at my jacket sleeves to hide the bite, and well, someone reported it. Someone had saw blood, apparently, coming from the sleeve, and because I was goth or emo or whatever people call it, they thought I might be self-harming. My teacher sent me to the counselor, and I went without a word. The counselor said to show my arms or she would call my parents, so I obliged. I watched her face contort into pure horror, and she said, "Who did this to you?" I kept my mouth shut out of fear. Then she noticed the handprints on my neck where John had choked me. She immediately contacted the police officer that was on the property and had him come into the room. Once the police officer entered, I just started bawling my eyes out and told him everything. "Wait," he said. "John Smith?" "Yes," I said. It turned out that John was on probation for having sex with a minor and wasn't supposed to be around anyone under 18. The police officer ended up driving me home after I had to call my parents. John wasn't arrested for what he did to me. 5 years after this had happened, I got a job at McDonald's as a person to greet customers and lead them to a kiosk. If you don't know what that is, it's like a giant touchscreen people use to order instead of talking to a cashier. I was talking to a coworker one day, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw John heading for the entrance. Feeling myself start to shake, I said I was gonna go on break, and I hid in the back room. I quit my job that day, and I moved to a different state. I never want to see him ever again.